Hello, everyone. Good evening. This is Kate here again. Today, I'm going to talk about the plight of women in Africa, the plight of a majority of women in Africa. I've actually chosen this topic today because I saw there's this thing trending on social media where um, it is reported that a woman somewhere in Nigeria, somewhere in the eastern part of Nigeria, I think in a village called Aguleri. I think Aguleri should be in Anambra, around the Anambra State area, where obviously she was stripped, she was completely nude, and the picture actually shows her on one corner of a room, so to say, with the husband's corpse lying by on the other side of the room. And there was another part of the video where there was a crowd of people. They put her in the middle, and people were like taunting her, calling her names, hitting her, and she was completely naked. There was nothing. She was bare, and she was being accused of having killed her husband. So I was just wondering if, for example, it was the other way around. If perhaps this woman was married to this man, not that they were quarreling or anything. It was not a case of violence. It could be a case of maybe a medical problem. Maybe the man had a heart attack, or maybe he's not been taking his medication, or he may have maybe he had a stroke or something. You understand, that may have caused this sudden death. But the thing is, why will society always blame women when things goes wrong? When a man dies, the wife automatically becomes the first suspect. Like in this woman's case here, in her case here, you can see the corpse lying in there. She was being accused of being responsible for the death of, sadly, for the death of her husband. Even though she was with her husband, they were having intimacy, there was no problem. Unfortunately, this man, there's a possibility maybe he had some underlying a medical problem, medical condition, and perhaps unfortunately he just died. It's also possible that perhaps if they were quick enough or proactive enough to have rushed this man to the nearest hospital, they may have also saved his life. You see, rather than just leaving him to die and then accusing the wife of killing him. So now they are speaking in their native language, saying that she deleted her husband during the course of intimacy. That she's a bad woman. She deleted her husband during the course of intimacy. But I was just wondering if it was the other way around. If she was the one that was deleted, that had a medical problem, and then whilst having conjugal knowledge with her husband, conjugal relations with her husband, and something happened, and then she became deleted. Will the man also be accused of deleting her? Definitely no. Definitely no. So this is a situation where a tradition and custom that is barbaric, it's tradition and custom that is outdated, a tradition and custom that is oppressive, a tradition and custom that abuses the human rights of women, that relegates women to the background, a tradition and custom that even religion, the religious belief also directly or indirectly supports this kind of tradition and custom. They don't frown at it. They don't frown at it at all. This is also why you see when a couple get married and um, maybe after 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years of looking for a child, automatically, even there are no medical reports to show that it is the woman that has the problem, automatically society just concludes that the woman definitely must be the one who has the problem. And you see these things happening even in families where there are educated people, where there are even medical doctors, where there are gynecologists, specialists, and consultants. They still indulge in this kind of archaic and oppressive cultural practices and beliefs. If the woman manages to now start having children, and maybe she has the first one is a female child, second one female child, third child, oh, she is the one that is refusing to give her husband a male child. Even though biologically it is the male that is supposed to produce the eggs, that is supposed to fertilize the female that will in order for her to now produce a male child. So she's all round, she's blamed. If her husband dies, she's blamed. If if the couples are infertile, she's blamed. If she now has a female children, she's blamed for not giving her husband a male child. She's blamed all round. If her husband is doing well during the tenure of the marriage, it is the extended family member of the husband that own the money. They are the one that raised the husband. In fact, they'll be looking even for a way to push the wife out. Even if the wife met the man when he had nothing and they struggled together, drinking gari, struggling together, none of the extended family members are there. But the moment the man now finds his feet, the extended family members, they now rush in, looking for a way, cooking up stories, even sometimes inciting the man against his wife that stood by him. Just because of their selfish interest, they want to come in to exploit the man, to destroy the man's life. But the man, funny enough, also dances to their tune because he is just like them. So you see this oppressive culture where women are oppressed in their matrimonial homes, in their community, in the society, in the nation at large. When a woman dies, it is the same day, even during her wakekeeping, there will maybe 2, 3, 4 women who are sleeping with her husband that will come for that wakekeeping. And immediately his friends will start encouraging him, you need to quickly get married, so that you can't continue, you need to move on. They were encouraging within 6 months. What is even 6 months? Some of them within 1 week, they've started sleeping with another woman. Perhaps it might even be a side chick who they were sleeping with whilst their wife was alive. And you see a lot of women have actually died. They've been deleted by side chicks because of the mistakes and the foolishness of their husbands. So, but when it happens, if it is the woman that is deleted, there is no suspicion. Nobody asks the man to come and take an oath or to come and drink some water or to come and do nothing, to come and find out what actually happened to the man. But the moment is the other, what happened? Sorry, I beg your pardon. What happened to the woman? The moment is the other way around. The first suspect is the woman. The first person they were accused is the woman. And when they come and pounce on the woman, they don't care whether she has children. They don't care how she's going to survive. I mean, this is a woman who was having intimacy with her own husband. And unfortunately, this man lost his life, perhaps because he had an underlying medical condition. I'm sure that amongst this crowd, these people who are doing this to this woman, there will be a lot of people who are educated. And this actually brings to mind the same thing happened. Look at this is a cock and a hen here. This is a cock. This is a cock and a hen here. Look at what happened here. Look at what happened. Just watch. Look at. After having intimacy with this hen, the cock jumped off, fell down, and died. So it even happens even in animal kingdom, even amongst the birds. Look at this. Look at the cock fell down and died. Let me play this again. So there's a warning. They say, guys, know your limit. Look at this. Look at that. Look at it's gone. It's dead. It's dead. Then compare this incident of the cock with what happened here in this case, in the humans. Now they are accusing her of look at what they did to this woman. The same thing that happened with the cock that fell, that obviously after having intimacy with the hen, the cock fell down. Unfortunately, maybe the cock had some medical condition, or like the warning, they say, guys, know your limits. In that guy's case, perhaps it's possible, who knows, maybe he took Viagra. He may have taken overdose amount of the dosage of the Viagra he took may not have been prescribed by a medical doctor. It could have been anything, but the first thing that the community or the immediate family would think about would be that she deleted her husband. Imagine the trauma for a woman that just lost the husband while they were having intimacy. The trauma, the pain, the anxiety, the confusion that that woman will be going through. But there is no single person, even there are women amongst that crowd who were shaming her, naming and shaming her. Nobody showed her compassion. Nobody showed her understanding. Nobody actually tried to sympathize or to empathize, to empathize with this woman who actually just lost her husband in a shocking manner, because she was with the man, having intimacy with the man when this happened. So you can imagine the pain for her, the hurt, the regrets. But nobody tried to understand her situation and her pain. All they could think about is, I'm sure there are so many of those people in that mammoth crowd that are educated. You'll be surprised that some of them, maybe even medical doctors, qualified medical doctors, they are there. They stripped this woman naked, accusing her of deleting her husband, taking her around the whole street. I don't know how that poor woman is going to survive it. The question is, where are the women's organizations? What is happening to the criminal justice system? Why are women not protected? Where are the rights of women? How do women in society such as that, how do they protect themselves from this oppressive, archaic, barbaric custom? How are women protected? I guess that woman, she will have children. Imagine the children, maybe even if they're still young, 5 years down the line, they see this kind of video on the internet of their mom, an innocent woman. Why is it that when something happens to a man, every time in Africa, the wife is always the one accused of being responsible for deleting the man? But when it's the other way around, nobody suspects the man. There have been cases where men have actually deleted their wives. used their wives for all kinds of rituals in order for them to get rich and all of that. Nobody ever goes directly to accuse those men. It's really sad. Why is it that when a couple, they are still waiting to get obviously to have a child, they're still trying to have to make babies, and then the baby is not coming? Why is it that automatically the woman is now the main suspect? She's the one that is not able to get pregnant. She's the one that has the medical problem, even when the man is the one that has the medical problem. There have been cases where even when when they have gone to do their checkup and it is now found out that the man is the one that has the medical problem, even the wife comes out openly to cover up the husband, to say, to accept that she is the one that has the medical problem, just to protect her husband's integrity. And then if she's lucky enough to not start having children, and she has the first child, she's a daughter, they don't obviously they will just accommodate that. And then by the time she has the second one and it's a daughter, oh, there will be problem. And then tongues will start wagging. Oh, she has not given their brother a male child. She has not given the man a male child. Even amongst the ones who are medical doctors, who should understand that it is the man, it is whatever the man supplies to to his wife, that is what she now produces as either a male child or a female child. Why is it that that women are always the ones that are always being judged and criticized and blamed when things go wrong? Even sometimes when the children, when they start misbehaving, when a child is misbehaving, is the mother's child, but when a child is doing very well, is the father's child. Why is it that women always are the burden bearers? When will the laws in Africa change to protect the rights of women? When will these people like this in a community like this in Aguleri, when will they be sensitized and educated to understand that there is a likelihood, at least 95% likelihood, that what happened to this man is related to an underlying medical condition that perhaps he overlooked, that he did not take care of. And unfortunately, because he was pumping his heart during intimacy with his wife, perhaps he had a heart attack. He may have taken Viagra, overdose of Viagra, and that affected his heart, and then this sad incident happened. Why is it that women are always at the crossroad when incidents like this happen? Why? When are we going to start changing our ways to understand that women have rights? When are we going to stand for women, to start protecting the rights of women? When are we going to start educating people in our communities to let them understand that when a woman is having 2 daughters, 3 daughters, 4 daughters, it is not her fault. It is the man's fault. It is what the man has supplied to her. That is what she produced as either a male child or a female child. It is never the woman's fault. There's this popular story of a man got married, and then they started having children, and the wife had 3 daughters. And the people started saying, you're a wife, you need to have a male child. Your wife cannot give you a male child. You better bring in a second wife so that second wife can give you a male child. These are educated people. They've traveled wide around the world, but the mentality still does not change. It is still that same oppressive and barbaric mentality that causes people that even when a man dies, they refuse to acknowledge that his wife is his next of kin. His legally married wife is his next of kin. You now see the extended family members coming to pounce on that woman who perhaps is still mourning for her deceased husband, and they take everything from her. Notwithstanding that they actually forget that she has children who the man left behind, and she might need she will need those resources to be able to maintain and to take care of those children. But they don't care because of the oppressive culture, the barbaric culture, the culture that tries to take away all rights that women have without being questioned, without being questioned, without being reprimanded. And it's going on and on and on and over. They keep just repeating it without being penalized. What makes society automatically believe that the moment a couple they are looking for a child, it is the woman's fault? When there are cases where it may be the man's fault, maybe he's having low sperm count, he may even be having erectile dysfunction. He may even be impotent permanently, but automatically it becomes the woman's fault. She's the one not getting pregnant. The man should look for another wife. She's the one not getting pregnant. Back to the story I was telling. That man finally went and got married to a second wife. Lo and behold, the second wife, did not even have any, could not even conceive to even have any child at all, not even a male child or even a female child. But what she did, she made sure that she siphoned all the man's money, made everything that he worked for. She cleaned him up until when he retired, he was left with nothing. And then he ran back to his first wife. Because at that time, when the second wife knew that there was now no money, she was now disrespecting him, now seeing other men, telling him to his face that he has already lived his life, that she's young, he should please allow her live her life. Because there was no money again. So he had to run back. And then one thing about women is like they are so forgiving, they are so accepting, they are so tolerant. He ran back. And we're not talking about something that happened within a period of 2 years. This was like a stretch for like 10 years. That first wife was being tormented because she didn't have male children that her husband did not give to her. But society automatically became judgmental and started blaming her, laying the blame on her. She refused to give her husband a male child. She took him back. She took him back. Now they are enjoying the daughters. Those daughters that he was looking down on, now they are big women. They are enjoying the daughters now. So I'm not sure why any body or group of people would take the laws into their hands to treat this woman the way they have treated her. And they left the body lying there. They did not rush him to the hospital. They left the body lying there, and somebody took the photos and put it up on social media with this woman's nudity, disgracing the woman, a woman who must have been traumatized, a woman who just lost her husband. There was no empathy, no consideration, nothing. And no proof. They have no proof except that the husband of that woman died when they were having intimacy together. That's the only proof they have. There's no proof, no evidential proof to show that that woman caused the death of the man. No autopsy has been carried out. Nothing. And you find out that by the time they release that woman, she won't go for counseling. She won't go for any kind of therapy. She just tries to pick up the bits and pieces of her life and just integrates back in the society. So that's why you see people are moving around, but people are hurting on the inside. People are wounded on the inside. Do you ever now think that such a woman, she will ever want to remarry again in her life based on this bad experience and the fear they've put her through and the pain and the hurt they've put her through? I want to also ask a question. African sister-in-laws who are already married in their own husband's houses, they want the best for themselves. They want their husbands to give them the best. They want to reap where they have sown in their own husband's house. But they vow that no other woman that is married to their brother will find peace, will find happiness, will reap of the fruit that they have also sown in their own husband's houses. So they are in their own husband's houses, their eyes are in their their own brother's house. And in this case, whether the brother is their older brother or their junior brother, they don't care. Is it greed? Is it lack of awareness? Is it ignorance? Is it jealousy and envy? Or is it just plain wickedness? Is it just plain wickedness? You are a woman, you are in your own husband's house. You want the man to be the best for you, to give you the best, to do everything for you. And another woman marries your own brother, you don't wish anything good for them. You want them to suffer pain and hurt. And then you vow sometimes that you must break the marriage because of what? Your own selfish agenda. You find sometimes some of these sister-in-laws, they find their own candidates that they want to destroy their brother's life. They want to trap their brother without their own candidate, forgetting that their brother has already built a settled life, but they don't care because they have an agenda, and that agenda is for their own monetary gain. So they don't care what happens. They don't care that their action is destroying their brother's life. They really don't care. But they expect that their own marriage will be settled, everything will be fine, that nemesis will not catch up with them. And a majority of times, they are supported by their mothers. They're supported by their mothers. They wage war against their brother's wife because of one thing: money. And a lot of men, their lives have been destroyed because of these toxic sister-in-laws and mother-in-laws. Years ago, somewhere in Lagos, a friend of mine, she got married to this guy. From the one that they got married, he brought in his younger sister to come in to live with them. Nothing wrong with that if he was man enough to put his feet down. Maybe the younger sister couldn't find accommodation. There's nothing wrong if she couldn't afford to get her own accommodation, her brother is in Lagos, maybe they came all the way from the east, there's nothing wrong. But he was not man enough to draw the line, to set a boundary, to let the sister understand that that home is the home that is being built between him and his wife. So all hell was let loose. He gave the sister so much authority, so much power over the wife. That marriage lasted 6 months. 6 months. That marriage lasted 6 months. You want to know how that marriage, what happened? As it's going, that man is going out in the morning, going out to work. and he's coming back in the evening, the sister will be at the door mouth waiting for him. And then she will take him into her own room. Everything that happened from when he stepped out of the house until when he came back, the sister will give an account of everything. Your wife did this, your wife did that, your wife did this, your wife cooked rice, she gave me a bath. Your wife drank tea, she gave me yam. Everything that happened. Your wife was on the phone, this one called, the other one visited, everything that happened. I was watching this program on telly. Your wife came and switched off changed the channel. All kinds of petty, insignificant complaints. And he was encouraging it. He was encouraging the sister. He didn't know his marriage was being broken. And by the time she feeds him with all this information, sometimes he will not even bother to come out to go to the bedroom. He will sleep. In fact, I was asking her that, are you sure he's not even sleeping with the sister? Why will you even allow him to spend the night in the sister's bedroom? You didn't raise an alarm for people to come. She said to me, do you want them to gather together and beat me up? That she was just watching them because she never thought in her life that such a thing, she didn't know that she was married to an imbecile, so to say, to a nincompoop who was not man enough to know that he was now a married man. If he knew he was just a boy, not old enough or strong enough to be a man to marry, he should have remained with the sister he shouldn't have gone to bring another person's daughter to come and join the sister in the house that they would now use as a slave. So it became like competition. It became like as if the man was marrying two wives. If she switches on the telly, the sister-in-law will go switch off, change the channel. And at the stage, they started dragging the remote. Who will switch on one? I want to watch a particular channel. This one wants to watch another channel. So it was like cat and rat. At a stage when each time that man would travel on his business trip, he would tell the sister where how long he's staying and where he's going. The wife would not know. The wife will only actually now know that he has traveled when he doesn't come back, and then sometimes he will call the sister to be talking to her over the phone. That thing continued. She was traumatized. She was emotionally and psychologically abused. And the sister, who was supposed to be a woman that will still marry her own tomorrow, and then you are wondering, how will she feel if she gets married? I don't know whether she's married now. How will she feel if she gets married tomorrow and somebody does that to her? And you find out that women who do these things, sister-in-laws who do these things, they want to be in their own homes and they don't want any intrusion. They don't want any third-party interference. They want the best. They want their husbands to love them, to give them everything. They don't want any family member to come near. But when they go out, they give their brother's wife hell. Some of them even go out of their ways to go and become diabolic so that they can wrap their brother around their fingertips and then start controlling him and start manipulating him. And if you look at the reason for all of this, because of for their own financial gain. So a lot of marriages have been destroyed by these sisters-in-law and sometimes by brothers-in-law. Sometimes by brothers-in-law. Then sometimes mothers-in-law. They will gang up. But I also believe that the only reason why they're able to do that is because the man himself is giving them that leeway. He's not putting his feet down. He's telling them that, yes, it's okay for them to come and disrespect his wife, treat her anyhow. But what he doesn't understand that his wife and his children, they are his future. They are his future. The sister has her own family. She will not leave her family her family is her priority. Her husband and her children are her own priority. But that most times these men don't know that. They don't know that. They refuse to leave their parents to cling to their wife. Some of them actually see bringing in a woman. They just, it's like they've gone to buy a slave for their mothers and their sisters and their brothers to maltreat. Couple of months after the torture, going back to that lady that I was talking about, the torture was too much. She wouldn't sleep. Sometimes the man goes away 1 week, 2 weeks. He has traveled on business trip. She doesn't know where he is. He doesn't call her. Because remember, over the months, all those gossip, your wife did this, your wife. So he started kind of, creating problems between them where she was saying, must you listen to your sister all the time? I am your wife. Why is it that when you come back home, you walk straight into your sister's bedroom? You will be there. Oh, the sister will now go and serve him food and say, brother, I'm coming. She will go and serve him food. He will eat the food in the sister's bedroom. The wife will be there lonely. She almost had a brain. She actually had a brain hemorrhage because of the torture, the emotional abuse. I tell you, emotional abuse and psychological abuse is worse than physical abuse. It's worse than physical abuse. So she went through this torture for months until one day she collapsed. She had a brain hemorrhage. Do you know it was the neighbors that came and they rushed her to the hospital? The sister-in-law did not move. It was almost as if that was what she was praying for. She didn't move. And she didn't even notify the brother so that wherever he was, he would rush back. She didn't. She just kept it to herself. So it took days before the brother came back to the house on its own. And they didn't go to see her in the hospital. What they did, they now planned from the hospital when they discharged her straight to her brother's house. That was how the marriage ended up. After that marriage ended up, I ran into that guy a couple of months later. And there was something he said to me that if he would ever remarry again, he said to me, if he will ever remarry again, that he will never, ever bring in a third party into his marriage. That was what he said to me. That if he will ever, ever remarry again, that he has learned his lesson. He was naive, that he didn't know. That now he knows that he has his family. The sister tomorrow is going to get married and then she'll have her own husband. There is no way she will not make choices, choose him over her husband. So that if he ever has the opportunity of remarrying again, he will never bring in a third party to his house, not even a housemaid. It was as bad as that. That's what he said to me. Because I asked him, I said, what lesson have you learned from this whole thing? He said, my sister, you know what? I've learned a lot. I was naive. But if I ever have the opportunity of getting married again, I will prioritize my wife and my children. They're going to be first before any other person. He learned in a hard way. He lost that marriage. One single marriage, every marriage is unique. Who knows the destiny of the children that he would have brought into that marriage without his wife? It can never be the same with another woman. If he gets married to another woman, that's a different destiny. So they messed up that destiny. Luckily, that woman, she has remarried now, but she never had a child. How can The marriage lasted, that's the shortest marriage I've ever seen. 6 months. 6 months. There was no way she could even conceive because she didn't have rest of mind. It was like as if there were two women married under that roof. Every day it was cat and rat. Complain. Your wife did this. Your wife did that. Your wife did this. And the man would just take sides. He would not even listen to his wife. And he would not. He would start keeping malice. What killed her most was the malice. Stonewalling. He would keep her malice for weeks, for months. For that 6 months that they married, she did not enjoy that marriage for up to 4 weeks because of third-party interference. Because of third-party interference. As a matter of fact, we need positive male mentors. We need men with experience to be organizing more conferences where men are being taught how to be men, where men are really being taught how to follow the biblical teachings that when the Bible says a man leaves his mother and father and clings to his wife, the Bible knows why that order was given. There's a reason for it, because it is difficult. It is more difficult for men to live and to cling. It is more difficult. A man who doesn't have a mind of his own can use his own hand to mess up his life, to mess up his marriage because of third-party interference. Because of third-party interference. And especially if that man has a domineering mother or domineering sisters or greedy sisters who can do anything for money. They can manipulate that man even spiritually. They can go spiritual to manipulate that man, to take everything from him, to make him hate his wife so that they can capture him and destroy his life and destroy his destiny. Some of them have told all kinds of lies. They will even tell the man, don't eat your wife's food. Don't sleep with her. Don't do this. She wants to kill you. How can a woman who you have built with, who has been with you all the years, suddenly now want to kill you? What will she get? Why do Africans have this thing? Why do they have this mentality? Why will a woman who is married to a man now decide to want to kill the man, the father of her children? And then it's interesting that the man who has been living with his wife, who should know his wife better, actually dances to the tune of third parties. That is why I think it's manipulation. That's why I think it's manipulation. It's manipulation. It's not ordinary. They manipulate the man, manipulate him spiritually, and then turn him to a mugu. Anything they say to him, that's what he listens to. And the moment they target that particular man, until they finish him, they will not leave him alone. They will not let him be. And you may be asking, what do they stand to gain? It's the greed of money, nothing else. The greed for money. The greed. I was listening to an audio recording the other time. The thing went viral on WhatsApp, something like that. I think sometimes last year, towards the end of last year, where a woman was warning the brother, saying that we trained you. You are in the US as a medical doctor, and then it's Christmas. You sent me, she said you sent me 50,000 naira. We are not begging. We are not poor. You are a doctor. We were there for you when you had nothing. Whereas from today, I'm not going to beg you for any money anymore. Don't send me this kind of. She was talking with so much of this, and she was so shameless. She actually mentioned her name. And I was thinking, you see, this feeling of entitlement that we as Africans, we feel, even as adults. You are an adult. Your brother is an adult. You are a family woman. You have your husband and your children. Your brother is a family man. He has his own wife and his children. Then your eyes are completely 24/7. You perch on you want to grab everything from your brother to add to your own family. You want to cripple him to add to your own family. He was graceful enough to even send you 50,000 naira. You are still warning him that he should never ever dare. He should give the money, he should give his money to all those who he thinks they deserve his money. Of course, who deserves his money? He has a wife and children. His first responsibility is to his wife and his children, not to you, because you have your own husband you are his responsibility. You cannot take your own and then take your brother's own to add to your own, because you are not his next of kin. And most importantly, you are an adult. You are an adult. So you see, so when people begin to feel entitled, you're an adult, your brother is an adult, you feel entitled that he owes you something. Even when you are asking for that thing, you are not gracious about it. You say it as a matter of your right. You say it. Haven't you even seen people who train children and the children still don't remember them tomorrow? Even though as bad as that is, but did they still say they are going to go and kill that child because the child has forgotten them? No. All they do is to continue to pray. Now, my take on it for a woman like that, if your brother sent you 50,000 naira and you feel you are not satisfied with the amount he sent to you, why can't you play it? Brother, I think even thank him first for the one he has given. You are saying he's a medical doctor. Do you know how he got there? Do you realize that qualifying as a medical doctor in the US, he must have taken student loan, he must have taken grants. He must have used his credit cards to pay for institution fees or something. He may have mortgage to pay. He has a car to maintain. He has car insurance. He has other utility bills. He has loans that he has to pay back every month. On top of that, he was still able to squeeze out 50,000 naira to send to you. And from the look of things, he doesn't send only to you alone. He sends to also other of the siblings. And yet, you people are not satisfied. That to me is witchcraft. That to me is wickedness. That to me is jealousy. That to me is greed. Excessive greed. It's oppressive. So I won't be surprised if this kind of a woman tomorrow goes out of her way to start thinking of how to manipulate her brother by fire, by force, so that she can take everything from him. So that whatever she says from her mouth, before you know it, the man starts hating his wife so that she can take everything from him. But if this same man, anything happens to him tomorrow, you will see this woman, she will abandon him. She will abandon him. If anything happens to this man tomorrow, this same woman will gang up with other village people to go to this man's wife to take everything that the wife would need to raise her children, and they will be merciless about it. This is the kind of wicked African oppressive and barbaric culture which gives adults a feeling of entitlement. This is why I like the Western world. The moment a child is 18, highest 21, you are independent. They teach their children how to be independent right from the cradle. When I was having children in this country, I used to wonder, the moment they in the maternity ward, you see a newborn baby will be crying in the baby's cot. The mother is just there sleeping or doing something else. They teach them independence from the cradle. They teach them independence from the cradle. A woman in her 30s, in her 40s or 50s, or even with men, you still want to hold on to your brother or your sister with a feeling of entitlement, with no feeling of saying that, even to say thank you, no feeling of thankfulness, no gratitude, nothing. You do it as a matter of rights, as a matter of entitlement. That is witchcraft, and that is what causes sometimes they become diabolic to try to destroy their brother, sometimes to try to destroy their sisters. Because of this wickedness, this satanic feeling of entitlement that they have. And that is why we have a woman like this today that's met with this kind of unfortunate unfortunate incident, nobody nobody is feeling sorry for her. All they are doing is to accuse her. Look at what they are saying, that she's a wicked woman. So that she deleted her husband. While she was sleeping with her husband, that she deleted her husband. They forget to understand that this man may have died of a heart attack. He may have an underlying medical problem. He may have taken Viagra, overdose of Viagra, and that affected his heart. It could be anything. What if it was this woman that was deleted while she was having intimacy with the husband? This same group of people would come, take her and put her in the hospital. Within 1 week, they'll tell the man, think of how to remarry, get another wife, or you can't be lonely like that, so that you don't face temptation. But when it's a woman, it becomes, you hear all kinds of accusations. All kinds of accusations. All kinds of accusations. I mean, this is the 21st century. To think that something like this can still happen in this day and time. And you see, even in the kingdom of birds, see how this incident that happened between this cock and the hen, see how it has brought look at this, the same thing that happened between that man and his wife. That's what happened between these two birds. You see how it has ridiculed the sensibilities of these people who call themselves humans. That cock also died. So could it be that is the hen that deleted the cock? Could it be? How did the hen delete the cock? When are we as Africans going to, rather than chasing money, chasing wealth, chasing prosperity, when are we going to emancipate ourselves from this mental slavery? When are we going to emancipate ourselves from this mental slavery, this oppressive and barbaric culture, this savage culture? That no matter how educated we are, no matter how widely traveled we claim no matter how exposed or how widely traveled we claim to be, we still kind of try to relegate women to the background. We still try to oppress women. We still try to name and shame women. How long are we going to emancipate ourselves from this kind of mental slavery? To understand that women have rights. Women, they are humans just like us. We're all created equal in the eyes of man, in the eyes of God. When are we going to start treating women with a little bit of compassion, with a little bit of care, with a little bit of love, with a little bit of appreciation? This is a woman who must have been traumatized because of the loss of the circumstances surrounding her husband's death, rather than the community gathering around her to give her the support and the care that she needed. They put her out, stripped her naked, start taking her, dancing the whole of the community, naming and shaming her. And before you know it, they will ostracize her. Tell me, what man, if she has female children, what man will come to want to ask for their hands in marriage? Or if she has a male child that wants to go and ask for another woman's hands in marriage, the first thing they will talk about is this incident. This is the first thing they will talk about is this incident. So what am I trying to say? Can we be a little bit more compassionate and more reasonable? Can we begin to treat women the way we expect our own sisters, our own daughters to be treated? Even this wickedness, this savage custom, even women, they are part of the perpetrators of this wickedness on their own fellow women. If you look at this crowd now, this crowd of people This crowd of people who took the, see, 80% of the people taking her around, they are women. 80% of the people naming and shaming her, they are the women. Then the men are taking photographs of her with their phones. This is a woman who just lost her husband in a tragic circumstance. All the support she can get is for her to be named and shamed, for her to be stripped naked, for them for the whole community of women to gather around her and to be naming and shaming her, taking her around the whole city, calling her a bad woman, an evil woman, a woman who killed her husband. Africa, we need to wake up. We need to emancipate ourselves from this mental slavery. At the end of the day, we say we are Christians. For every street that we go to, we have 3, 4, 5 church, and yet we don't have the human compassion and the love and the understanding that we should have, even as Christians. Where lies the love that Jesus preached, even as Christians, if truly we are the followers of Christ? This is such a shame. Where are the women's group in this community? What happened to the criminal justice system? Whosoever spearheaded this rally or whatever it is called, they should be arrested. Whosoever spearheaded this barbaric show of shame, this display of shame, they should be arrested and brought to book for the injustice suffered by this woman. Before you know it, I won't be surprised, they will pounce on her. If this man has left a little bit in his estate, they will take everything from her and they will push her and her children out. Most times when you see them making this kind of false allegation, the intention is because they want to take everything from her. They take the farmland, they take everything from the women. Where are the women? Are they no? Is it that they don't have women's organization who protect the rights of women in Nigeria? With particular reference to this case, this incident that happened in Aguleri in Anambra State. Are there no women's organization? Where are the police? These people should be arrested and brought to book. And the woman should be supported and sent for counseling and for therapy because she's been damaged, she's been bastardized. I don't know how she's even going to be able to recover from this pain, from even the shock of losing her husband. And then this. Africa, wake up. Wake up. Let's emancipate ourselves from this mental slavery. It's not going to take us anywhere. Thank you very much.